I hope you appreciate that I waited to click record until you were done sipping your.
I figured. What do I give it? Well, whatever.
Whatever.
I figure at this point you should just start hitting record like 30 seconds into us interacting, and
well, I just not that either of us would say anything uncouth. I just like to make sure that everyone knows that we're not live, pal, but we're recording, pal.
live to tape.
Exactly.
Much appreciated.
You got it. Well, it is Friday, so that means it's Kris and Matt's Wrestling Pod 2.0 here on musicandmoonsaults.com. I am Kris. That's Matt. We're going to talk a little bit about the week in wrestling. And before we get into all of that, why don't you go ahead and hit the thumbs up on this video and click the subscribe button on the channel. We're now, I've designated this playlist as a podcast, so now it's available on YouTube Music.
Oh, yeah. Look at you.
Yeah. So if you're into that, there you go. Yeah. So, you got to write about billionaires potentially fighting in a cage this week, huh?
I did. The new version of the Battle of the Billionaires. Let's hope the next one,
brother.
Oh yeah, the shoot version of it. Yeah, that part of me really wants to see Zuckerberg and Elon battle it out, but then it also is a signal to me of the doom of society that would capture so many people's attention and people would actually pay money for it.
Oh, they would. It would be. If it became like the highest grossing fight, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Dana White flat out said he thinks it would do 3 times the business of Mayweather and McGregor.
There you go.
Because oh man, see, I feel like it would have a ton of hype, but then it would be Eric Bischoff versus Teddy Long at Survivor Series 2005. Levels of awfulness. I can't imagine it would be a good fight.
No, it wouldn't be. But that doesn't stop people from wanting to see it, seeing the train wreck.
Well, and since we're in this era of rich people spending money on stupid things, I thought the idea of them fighting for charity was great. But wouldn't it be better if people could pay $10,000 to get into the cage and you get to take a swing at either one of them? Not hit them, you just get to take a swing. And if you make contact, great. If not, oh well.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a lot of people that would pay a lot of money for the chance to take a swing at either one of those guys. I'd be more interested in watching that than those two pretend to have a cage fight.
Yeah. Yeah. But let's talk about real fake fighting.
Yeah. Real fake fighting. I like
it. I believe it was the great philosopher Axl Rose who said, I don't need your Civil War, but we're getting one anyway.
I mean, if there was ever a man who walked this earth that knew how to break down the struggles of society, it was Axl Rose.
Yeah.
Or it is. I speak of him like he's not around still.
Yeah. But no, he's still alive and kicking.
Yeah.
We got the Bloodline Civil War on the
It's
horizon.
Here. It's not on there. It's here.
Well, I mean, it's next week.
They attacked Roman.
Right.
The war has started.
The match is next week. So, next weekend. But yes, the Bloodline has imploded officially. Roman made Jay make the decision last week, and Jay kind of swerved him a little bit, making it seem like he was going to side with Roman, and told Jimmy that he's out of the Bloodline. And then he goes, I am too. And then he turned around and kicked Roman right in the face. And
off to the races.
And then Solo looked at Jay, and he didn't actually say this, but I imagine he said something to the effect of, or no, he looked at Jay. Jay said something to the effect of, in my head, I'm sorry, but he's my brother, meaning Jimmy. And then Solo said, so am I. And then he went to attack him. Duck. He gets super kicked. A double super kick to Roman. People going bonkers. Michael Cole going bonkers. Great segment. And we're getting the match at Money in the Bank next week.
Yep. You know what's funny about it is the match is secondary.
Yeah.
Like someone pointed this out on, I think it was a Twitter thread I saw, that like this story is so good, the actual matches themselves have meant nothing. No one cared about the outcome at Royal Rumble because we were like, the progression is what's important. Maybe at Elimination Chamber you cared, like a lot of people cared if Sammy won, but the real, like the story was still, and it's everything in between, which is completely different than what guys like you and me have been raised on. Of like, it's when the bell rings is when it matters, and this is kind of going completely different than that.
Yeah. It's like the stuff leading up is to get us to care about what happens in between the bells, and this, like you said, this, you got the stuff in the ring is more or less like, okay, so where does this get to next in the story? Like it's cool and it's fun, it's interesting, and it's like, you can't do, like, this is like a 1 in a million story. Like, you can't. It's going to be a long time for anyone to recreate something that's this compelling and has gone on this long, and still doesn't, not really a whole lot of signs of it slowing down.
Yeah, I mean, I think the prevailing wisdom is one of the Usos will somehow get a win in this match and then challenge Roman at SummerSlam. But at this point, would it shock anyone if Roman and Solo got the win and kind of put the boots to the Usos, and the Usos go away for a little bit, and then Roman goes on to a challenge? Like,
yeah,
they could change it up, which is nice about it too.
Yeah.
Because I think if either one of the brothers actually faces Roman for the title at SummerSlam, again, it's another scenario where he's not losing there. So it's that side of it would take the drama of the match away. But again, the match hasn't mattered nearly as much as what's happening with the story. So
right. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was. I probably watched the. From the point where Jay tells Jimmy that he's out through the end. I probably watched that a good, 10 times Friday night, Saturday morning, just because it was just so, it was similar to, the Sammy and Kevin hug right before WrestleMania, and that it was like one of those things where it's like, man, that was, it's one of those things where if this was like, it just reminds me of stuff I remember from like the later stage of the Attitude Era. My peak fandom. It had that kind of feel to it. So, but yeah, I'm should be interesting. Yeah, we'll see what they do tonight, and then next week right before Money in the Bank. But I'm looking forward to it.
It's that show on paper is starting to come together really nicely.
Yeah.
And that's
3 p.m. start time. Sign me up for that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because it's in the UK. Yeah. So
right. I won't be able to watch it. I'll be working again.
Right. Wedding season.
Holly Clark Photography for all your wedding needs.
Exactly.
There's my plug.
If you're in the Michigan area.
No, if you're anywhere. Well, not anywhere. But if you want travel, if you have travel destinations and it's not like Paducah, I'm we will travel.
Shout out to the people of Paducah. All right. Well, then the night after that happened, it finally happened. Wait.
Real quick, yes. I want to go back. There's something I wanted to point out from WWE this week. Look, they are absolutely out of their goddamn minds if LA Knight doesn't win Money in the Bank.
Yes.
If they don't capitalize on this and they go with Logan Paul because it's the headline catcher or this guy has to get it.
Yeah.
They have to give him this opportunity. Even if he just ends up losing, give him the time with Roman and let him go to work. Let him cook, as the kids like to say.
Or even Seth. Like him and Seth would probably be pretty good too.
Great. I keep forgetting about that because to me that isn't the real world title.
Hey, Seth Rollins with that world title is a draw, man. Did you see those NXT great. Numbers?
I did. They were doing Dynamite numbers.
Yeah,
for the first time in months. But that's not the real world title.
Wow,
it's just not. It's not. I'll never look at it like that. But they have to give LA Knight. I know people like, oh, he's just a ripoff of The Rock and Austin. Well, those guys are just ripoffs of dudes that came in the 80s. I was gonna say, if
you're gonna steal from somebody, steal from the best. Like
exactly. Like that reaction he had. You hear guys talk about maximizing the TV time you have. Every single time he's on TV, he maximizes it. That nonsense garbage feud with Bray Wyatt, he made the most out of it, and he's done it like that ever since. They have to make him a focal point coming out of Money in the Bank.
Yep. I agree. He should win the briefcase. Oh yeah. Speaking of the titles, though, I'm sorry. Like, I love the troll job of Roman walking around with all 3 titles.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
Dude, when I saw that, my first thought was, man, it would really piss people off if he beat Seth and put another one back there. Like, Seth goes on a little run and gets froggy, and he's like, I'm ready to take down the champ. And
yeah, we just do this all over again. Yeah.
Just draped in gold. I love it.
All right. I guess anything else WWE related before we move on?
No.
Okay. All right. So it finally happened. He walked out into the arena, and this is like, this is why I wish I didn't dislike him so much, because he'd be my the callbacks and the Easter eggs and the stuff, like that's right up my alley, but I can't do it.
Taking the mic flag off
and his hair, shaved head and all that kind of stuff, and everyone's making the connections to, right before he turned heel in WWE, and stuff like that, and which is like cool. If that's what's happening, cool. Like, I hope that's what's happening. But, he gets on and he talks and he says he's got his was he afraid someone was going to toss his wrestling shoes over the telephone line? Is that what was this about? Or
no, it was the there was talk that he was going to come out and retire. And you know how, because everyone on the internet has an opinion about everything he says and does. What if he's just coming out to retire? Blah blah blah. And then it was he wore him around.
Match announced for later in the night. That makes zero fucking sense.
Because people are stupid.
Okay.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not going to keep.
Yeah, nope, we can't do that.
But it was. I think it was more of a like, you wanted me to lay my boots down in the middle of the ring. That's not happening. Blah blah blah. I texted you after I got home from another wedding the night of the debut, and I had finally seen everything, and I said the promo was soft, and it was stuff like that. I didn't think it was a great promo. He had 2 killer lines, and they saved it. But the whole "I'm tired of being a nice guy," you've never been a nice guy. Like, everyone sees through. Like, I'm a diehard. You're not a nice guy as a wrestling character. And the addressing the elephant in the room without really addressing it just kind of was just a letdown for me.
Right.
But I do like that he got right into the no one ever beat me for the belt. Max, you never beat me, and I didn't get this because I had the best style of match. I did it because I won. I like that he's not ignoring. They're not just ignoring that he's the undefeated, former champion.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree with that part. Yeah, some of the rest of David Zaslav calls me the one Bill Phil. I'm like, well, I don't know. Look at those flashbacks office numbers. I don't know if that's really something you want to be touting right now. That
right.
David Zaslav puts his faith in you.
Yeah, but I mean the line that he got from it about the counterfeit bucks. I mean that was outstanding. That was a money line.
Sure. Yep.
And I'm sorry that you're softer than the wrestlers you love. Like I feel like that's the perfect way to approach this on an on-screen. In an on-screen way, because if he comes out and he's like, I'm so sorry for what I did, that doesn't really do anything.
Right.
If he's turning heel, like even if he doesn't turn heel, I don't think he's turning heel. I think this is going to be, we're going to let the fans pick their side.
Right.
It's going to be Civil War, in the MC. Are you Team Iron Man or are you Team Captain America?
Right.
Pick your side.
Yeah. And then they had the match. I only caught like the last few minutes of it, and that didn't seem like it was that great.
There was a couple sloppy moments there that weren't Punk's fault. I would have imagined it was him, but the as an older Ring of Honor fan though, seeing him and Joe and Punk in the ring together was awesome, and then Joe just laying into him was. Mwah.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, and then he was on Dynamite this week because they were still in Chicago, so why not? And he ran in. Took him awful long time, but he finally made the run in and helped Ricky Starks and FTR fend off the Guns and Bullet Club Gold, and so now we have that 8-man set up for Collision this week.
Tomorrow night, yep. I'm a disappointed. I hope they're able to elevate Ricky Starks with this, but I feel like this is it for him. Either he catches on and takes the next step here, or it's time to just accept he's not going to be the guy that a lot of people want him to be.
So the problem is though, like he gets these spots and then they forget about him.
Well, do they forget about him, or does he not do enough to make it memorable?
No, they forget about him because, like, he did the Jericho feud, and then, like, I mean, yeah, I guess he went right into the it just feels like, coming from someone who only watches Dynamite.
Sure.
Like, it just felt like there was, like, he would go, like, I don't know, it just felt like he was not put in a good position, like, from a focal point standpoint. But
I mean, to harken back to what I just said about LA Knight, I think Starks at one point made the most out of his time, but his character to me has gotten very repetitive. He says the same thing in every promo. And yet they have been start and stop with him on some stuff, but also I feel like if he were doing something that made people talk about it beyond like, oh, and then Ricky Stark's segment was really good too, but it wasn't like the thing that made you go, that was the best part of Dynamite this week.
Right. Yeah.
So I hope by being with Punk and FTR, because it looks like that's going to be the fourth member of their group. Obviously, Punk, CMFTR needs a fourth for the Elite.
Absolute
right?
CMFTR.
Oh, is it? I saw Dax was trying to come up with a name.
Cash tweeted that one out earlier. So
okay, absolute CMFTR. Fantastic, guys.
That's a little bit of a mouthful, but we'll go with it.
Yeah, sure. It's going to mean more TV time.
Yeah.
Punk is clearly not afraid to try to shine a light on underexposed talent. So hopefully he works with Starks, helps him a little more. Starks, I think, is better off as a heel to begin with. So if this group is going to be kind of tweeners, I think that'll help him a little more. That being said, I'm not thrilled for an 8-man tag the night before pay-per-view.
8-man tag that's essentially the same as the 6-man tag we got the week before. You just change a couple of the parts around, but most of it is the same people that were in the 6-man the week before. So that's a little weird, but there was something else I was just gonna say, but I don't remember what it was now.
The ESPN interview that was going to ruin the company.
Oh yeah, whatever. I don't care about that.
Okay.
No, it's just look. There was nothing in that would make anyone change their mind, no matter what side they were on. Like, so it's whatever.
There's very clearly a member of the wrestling media who is trying to influence the discussion around CM Punk every chance he gets. And whenever the name comes up, he's got something negative to say, and it's transferring through the rest of the industry. So people feel like they got to be the next ones to be like, oh, Punk did something wrong, and you can only read it here on my website and not the Observer. Like, it's ridiculous. But
anyways, why are people such bad friends in AEW?
It's a competitive environment, and it's a locker room.
So I'm watching Dynamite, right? And I'm watching the highest rated segment of the night, the concession stand brawl. Yay, Jeff Jarrett. Yay, Memphis Wrestling.
Check out for the just go.
And everybody and their mother is coming out to interfering to help. Where's FTR? They're supposed to be best friends with Mark Briscoe. Where's FTR? Nope. Their other best friend came back, and they're like, "See ya, Mark."
Yep.
Literally and figuratively. See ya, Mark.
Adios. I've complained about this sort of thing forever, and that and camera work, and they made a major mistake on Dynamite this week with camera work again. It's not logical. It doesn't make any sense. The story progression week after week when it comes to like the stables, everything's a cluster all the time when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's another example of like one hand isn't talking to the other when it comes to this stuff.
Right.
But
yeah, that's very true. We're getting a lethal lottery type. So we're going to have like 2 tournaments going at the same time, I guess. Because we got the Owen starting up soon here, and then we got this
tonight.
Yeah, starting tonight. And then we have this I forget what they call it, but it's essentially lethal lottery from
the blind eliminator tournament.
Yeah.
Blind tag eliminator tournament,
right,
or something like that.
So basically you you pick tag team partners at random, whether they get along or don't, and they're having a tournament to decide who gets a shot at the tag team titles. And the first team announced is Adam Cole and MJF.
Can they coexist?
Yes.
Will they put their egos aside for a chance? Yeah, whatever.
Right.
Like, whatever. This is if they're gonna bring back or do a tournament, I'm more excited about Tony saying he's interested in doing a G1 type in AEW far more than I am Lethal Lottery.
Lethal Lottery is always a thing that in concept I think is awesome, but then the execution is always like, well, that doesn't make sense.
Right. Unless, like, the only thing that would make it work for me is if, and this is going to go back to like a WWE storyline years ago where Claudio, then Cesaro, and Sheamus had that series of 7 matches that were really good. And then they were like, we should just be a tag team and see what happened. Like, if 2 random people got paired together and it turned into like another elite level tag team, that can challenge challenge FTR. Maybe, but I get the feeling it's just going to kind of fizzle out. They're going to use it to like advance the MJF Jericho or MJF Cole, and then they'll have Jericho will team with Darby or something, and it's just going to be used to push those along. And I'd rather just.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess I'll take the wait and see approach, because again, like when you lay it out like that, like I'm not against that, because then that's some fresh ways of, doing these feuds instead of, backstage attack during an interview segment, in-ring interview set, the same, 3 or 4 things that they always do. So, and they don't do a whole lot of the can you coexist stuff, or can they coexist stuff. So,
but I'm thinking more of along the lines of the end game of they get a world tag title match. If it's not 2 people that are going to continue to be a tag team after this, it makes the tournament meaninless, and 2, it once again puts FTR in a devalued world tag team title match when they're supposed to be trying to make this a major part of the show again.
Well, that's why you either got to have, through the luck of the draw, you got to have, 2 people who are, tied together somehow, be a team. I do think whoever wins this tournament needs to be either a team already or a team going forward. Like, I definitely don't think you should have Adam Cole and MJF win the tournament. Like, that does no one any favors in the long run. It doesn't do FTR any good. It really won't do them any good. Like, but I think you can still do all the stuff that we just talked about and elevate either a new team or, like I said, an already existing team that through, it's just dumb luck, 1 in a million chance. Who would have thought, that these 2 actually were going to get picked together to be partners type thing. And then they go on a run.
And let's, ideal situation, that's what happens. You know, honestly, I would it shock anyone, or would it sitting here thinking about it, like if Miro and Andrade ended up as a team in this tournament and then they challenged FTR, all 4 guys are already on Collision. It would be a great way to get Andrade and Miro back to the top of the card. On paper, that team sounds like it would be incredible.
Mm-hmm.
That's the sort of thing I'm looking for. But if it ends up where, just by the luck of the draw, Penta and Ray Phoenix ended up as a team together, I'm going to go, well, why not just build a storyline where they become the number 1 contenders?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, I'm thinking more like someone like Orange Cassidy and Darby, because they've tagged together a couple different times, but they're not really officially a tag team.
Sure.
Something like that. But yeah. So yeah, we got that, and like I said, the Owen tournament starts tonight. I'd like to congratulate my good friend Joe Holbert on his position on the booking committee, getting that Roderick Strong Samoa Joe first round matchup in there.
Yep.
That's like I saw that. That's like him. Like, I'm sure he was beside himself when he saw that announced. So that'll be good. Can't wait for that one, actually.
And then the semifinal match that's going to happen on that side of the bracket is where I'm like, let's go.
Right. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. So yeah, you're right. No Canadians. That's weird.
I mean, an honorary Canadian's going to win the whole thing, so.
Who's the honorary Canadian?
Pepsi Phil.
Why is he an honorary Canadian? Just because he likes hockey?
He likes hockey. He's obsessed with Bret Hart. He's the ambassador for the Hart family at this point. Like, he's an honorary Canadian.
Whatever. Yeah, he probably will win.
I mean, when you look at the other side of the bracket, it's like Powerhouse Hobbs, Juice Robinson. I forget, isn't Dustin Rhodes one of them?
Yeah.
like you look at the other side of that bracket.
No,
Who's
you're right.
unless they do a screw job finish, but I can't at that point. Like I can't see anyone else benefiting from that happening either. It's Punk's tournament.
I get, but what does he gain from winning the tournament? Like, woohoo! I won this tournament. Like, I don't know. Like,
Well, maybe they get Brett to come out for it, but I think he's tied in with WWE.
yeah, he is. He is.
But so if he's not going to be there, he wins the tournament in Canada. They boo the hell out of him because they're Kenny Omega people, and that's that can be part of a catalyst for a heel turn of like, you people don't respect me, blah blah blah. You know, almost like the reverse of Brett's promo after WrestleMania 13, where he turns his back.
Mm-hmm.
He could turn his back on the Hart family at that point, and that could be, who knows.
Yeah.
But like, you're not going to have Joe go and be the Ring of Honor TV champion and win the Owen. You're not going to have Joe go to the final and lose again in the final. And the other four on the other side of the bracket, I don't think it makes any sense to have him beat Joe or Punk. So
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I guess it's just, I don't know. Again, it felt like when I saw it, other than, you know, the one half of the bracket, and even Punk's first round opponent, which we'll get to, like, if it just
it's Matt.
It just screams like last minute, oh crap, we're starting this next week.
Yeah.
Let's throw some names together.
Right. You couldn't get Ethan Page in there. Like, right. You couldn't say like, hey Kenny, you're doing a match in this tournament. Sorry.
Right.
Like you're gonna but yeah, it's or Jericho. Then, you know, Jericho would be like the perfect person to have on the other side of that bracket. Now that we're talking about it,
right?
Because no one would bitch if he won. He literally,
people would bitch if he won.
But realistically speaking, Jericho is a threat to anybody on the AEW roster at any point. Sure. No one's going to be like, Jericho doesn't deserve to beat anybody. He literally grew up wanting to be an Owen Hart, like partners with Owen. He could talk about how much it means to him. And then if he loses, he's got all the fuel he needs to be like, you took something from me that I wanted. Blah, 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 blah,
and he had a big hand in getting, you know, Martha and AEW together in the first place.
Right.
So, yeah. No, I agree. And with him or Kenny on the other side of the bracket, then you have people going, oh, if Punk and yeah. No, you're right. That would have been better, but
of course I'm right.
It feels like very last minute and very like rushed.
Yep.
So
and this is what people have talked about being worried about all the stuff that Tony has to. There's a lot going on with this company right now, and that's something that feels like just kind of maybe slipped through the cracks. Mm-hmm. Not the end of the world, but the excitement for the tournament isn't nearly as what it was last year, I don't believe.
No. And it's, you know, it's hard to recreate that in year two, I think. Last year it was just so like something officially associated with Owen Hart being a part of wrestling again was just a big deal.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And so I don't think you're ever going to recapture that. It was, again, it's not the same, but it's not dissimilar from Punk returning at the first dance and then Punk returning this last week. Like, one came after a 7-year absence. The other one came after, 9 months off or whatever.
9 months. Yeah.
And then, but on the other hand, you'd think that with the whole tournament taking place in Canada, that this year would be a bigger deal, but it doesn't feel like it.
Right. No, I agree with you there.
So, anything else, AEW, before we go on and break down and talk about this Forbidden Door card?
You know what? There was something that I was thinking of, and then I lost it. Maybe it'll come back to me once we're talking about the card. But
okay. So Forbidden Door is this Sunday from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Woo, Toronto, that's where we live.
Yeah, that's where we live. Yeah.
And let me pull up the card here. We'll go. Let's see here. All right, so we'll just go top to bottom or bottom to top on this list here. The way they have it listed here. So we've got a trios match of Chris Jericho, Minoru Suzuki, and Sammy Guevara, the Suzuki Gods versus Sting, Darby, and a TBD. Who do you think the TBD is?
So I have no clue. I know that the rumor was it was possibly Goldberg. There's no, like, that doesn't make any sense. That would be terrible.
Doesn't make sense, but it also makes all the sense in the world.
It kind of, yeah. Because they hinted that it's gonna be someone from Jericho's past, right?
Yeah.
So then, like, I thought it could be Evil, it could be Naito,
could be Marty Jannetty.
Let's hope. Let's pump the brakes. We don't need murder happening on the. It could be Gato. Like, if I had to put money down, I would actually think it'd be Gato.
Okay.
Because he Jericho got his start in Japan.
Is Ultimo Dragon still wrestling?
Maybe. I guess I hadn't even thought about that, but there's the connection there.
Run back him and Hoovy.
Right. Well, what's Prince Iakea up to? Or Silver King? Yes. Let's find Silver King.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's fine. You know what? It'll be neat for someone to get a little pop. I would expect Sting and Darby's team to win, and that'll further escalate the issues between Jericho and Sammy.
Yeah, I don't know. This is one where I was pumped after the promo last week, and then they just decided to shoehorn it onto the show, and I'm like, and there's another match. In fact, that's the match we'll talk about next, where I'm just like, oh, that's what you're gonna do with this here?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess. I don't know. I hope it is someone. I mean, obviously, it doesn't have, like, I would probably, I would prefer it not be Goldberg, but like, I don't know. Like, it can't just be someone that we see every week.
Right.
It has to be someone. So I don't know. We'll see.
The only thing I want to see out of this
match,
match,
I was just gonna be fine with the 2-on-2 match, to be honest. Like, I thought that's what we were doing, because I thought it was leading more toward not just getting Jericho and Sting in the ring together, but also the breakup of Jericho and Sammy. And this just feels like that part of the story this week just didn't exist on Dynamite, and it's just.
But to be fair, one thing that AEW has done really well, and especially I would say with Jericho stuff, is there are weeks where it slows down a bit, but there's going to be a Dynamite in a couple weeks where it's not going to be a loaded card, and that's where they'll advance the storyline better, and they'll shine some more focus on this. But as far as this match goes, yeah, it's kind of a bummer. The only thing I'm really excited for, I want to see Murder Grandpa just absolutely annihilate Darby Allin at some point.
Yeah.
Give me that spot, and the rest of it is okay, cool.
Yep. And then we've got in a 10-man tag, the team of the Blackpool Combat Club, Shota Umino, who should just be an honorary member of Blackpool Combat Club at this point. Like, should be the Japan chapter of Death Jitsu. And then Tall, Dark, and Sexy, Konosuke Takeshita. And they're taking on the team of the Elite, Eddie Kingston, and Tomohiro Ishii.
Yeah.
That was my exact reaction. Like, again, like, I get wanting to get it feels like both years they've done Forbidden Door. Again, it feels like the Bucks have been an afterthought.
Yeah.
Like they got thrown in that weird 8-man tag with Sting and those guys and Bullet Club last year, and now like this is arguably your top program on Dynamite on AEW television, and it feels like I don't know. I don't know if this should be the next step. Like, again, I would hold off until both Kenny and Brian are available and do the match then. I don't know. Because you do this match, like, I'm still into the feud, but how much further can we go until we're finished with this? Or are we finished with this? It kind of seems like Don Callis is just trying to build a family, as he calls it. So are we going to maybe transition to Takeshita and some other hired guns for Don Callis to go up against Elite now? Like, I don't know. Like, it's just, and like, just randomly adding Eddie and Ishii into this.
That's where I'm lost on it. Is like, one, we know in 3 weeks Eddie's going away for a month and a half. He's going to do G1.
Right.
So he's not going to be in this going forward.
Right.
It's kind of like you were saying with the 8-man that's going to be on Collision. It's just a repackaging of a match we've already kind of seen before. Yeah, we're getting Takeshita in there, but it's a 10-man, so we're not going to solve anything. I said it last week. It makes no sense for Eddie to want to partner with the Young Bucks. They've never had a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole, like, Eddie's upset with Moxley for teaming with Claudio. You were doing that same thing last year. You still haven't resolved that.
Mm-hmm.
The Elite need 2 tag partners for a 10-man tag. If only there were 2 members of the faction that they helped turn into a global icon that had nothing going on that night, that could have stepped in to be the other 2 members of the team. And then you could even hint at, yeah, why don't you go take care of our problem on Collision for us, since they're going to be feuding with Punk. Like,
well, but they're heels. See, I was thinking more.
But my point is, they have history in New Japan as Bullet Club. Right. You have an outfit of Bullet Club in AEW. Put them together. It's a one-off thing. They don't trust Jay White, but they're Bullet Club for life. So who else are you going to call it?
I was thinking that if you're going to pull 2 people, why not Tama Tonga and Tangaloa? That would have made more sense to me. I mean, because they're not part of Bullet Club anymore. The Elite technically aren't part of Bullet Club anymore. Like,
right.
That would have made more sense to me. But, yeah,
I get Eddie's back. They want to get Eddie on TV. They want to promote Eddie to the New Japan audience because he's going to be in G1. I get that. Don't sacrifice, like you said, your top program on Dynamite for what is essentially an afterthought match at arguably your biggest pay-per-view of the year.
Yeah.
In terms of interest beforehand, I don't think anything is going to draw the excitement of fans like this card is when you look at 3 of the matches that we're going to get to.
Right. So yeah. And then we have a women's, there was a women's match last year. We have one this year too. Toni Storm defending the AEW Women's World Championship against Willow Nightingale.
Toni Storm wins.
Right. This should
be a solid match. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then we got what I thought was going to be 2 separate matches, but they combined it all into one. We have a 4-way for the International Championship. Orange Cassidy, Daniel Garcia, Zack Sabre Jr., and Shibata.
My guy.
Yeah.
If this weren't on a card with so many other banger matches, this would be my, this is what I'm most excited for. Mm-hmm. This match, it could be a show stealer type of match. We talked last week about, like, on paper, Cassidy and Zack Sabre could have been a show stealer, and now we've got 4. I love Shibata. He was my favorite New Japan guy until he got hurt. It's great to see him back. I don't think he's what he used to be, but also,
right,
how could he be?
Exactly.
It's still awesome to see him here. And look, man, this Orange Cassidy run is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I'm really excited for this match.
Like, I've seen a lot of people talk about it this week, but he right now, like, he's on the Mount Rushmore of current champions in the industry. Orange Cassidy is. Like, his run with that title has been excellent.
And it's proven to everyone who's like, he's just a comedy wrestler. No. He's a really good wrestler that also figured out how to pull comedy and prove you can get over while being goofy, and switch it on when you need to.
Yeah. If I wasn't so sure that a couple of the other matches were absolutely going to deliver, this would be one where I'd be like, that could seal the show. But I don't think that's going to be possible with the 2 top matches.
The 3, I'm telling you. Go ahead.
No, okay. So then we have the in the first round of the Owen Cup tournament, CM Punk versus Kojima, which again, not what people were expecting or wanting, but it's what we got. So,
I mean, Kenta fears Punk. What do you want me to say?
Yeah. Or he just wants a lot of money, which good for him.
He fears Punk. Yeah. He wants to get paid a lot of money before he goes to sleep.
Yeah, could be. Yeah. There's no question Punk wins this.
Yeah. And it'll be, Kojima gets Punk gets to wrestle Kojima and check that off his little list, and puts him in the building for the show, which is, we'll see.
Right.
he's gonna be there with everyone else. So let's see what happens.
Just divide the arena in half. And yeah.
Keep Punk at the hotel until 20 minutes before his match.
Yeah, exactly. And for the AEW World Championship, MJF defends against Hiroshi Tanahashi.
I think this match is going to deliver.
Oh yeah.
Tanahashi is his work over the last. He's not what he was 10 years ago, obviously. But he was never a guy that relied on a ton of flash and stuff. He's a solid technician in the ring. MJF is the same way. I could see a lot of Memphis style in this, but working it the right way, because that crowd is going to be so excited to see Tanahashi live. The near falls and things like that, I think they're going to get huge reactions out of the crowd. I think this is going to be a really good match.
You have one of the best heels against, like, one of the greatest baby faces of all time. Like, Tanahashi is just
he's
phenomenal.
1 in a million.
Yeah, exactly. Go Ace. But yeah, MJF's going to retain here, right?
MJF, and that's fine. Like, just give him another thing to brag about when he comes out every week. I took down the ace of New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yep.
I'm better than everybody,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then we have Sonata defending the IWGP Heavyweight Championship against Jungle Boy Jack Perry.
Who?
Jungle Boy.
I've never heard of this guy.
You never heard of Jungle Boy Jack Perry?
Apparently you didn't hear what Sonata said this week.
No, I didn't.
Sonata gave an interview where he was like, I have no idea who that is. He's like, he said he was disappointed that that's who his challenger was. He's like, I don't know anything about this guy. I would have thought a bigger star would have challenged for the championship. So
off to a great start.
I mean, honestly, when you look up and down the AEW roster, if I'm the champion of New Japan, even in a kayfabe sense, that's all these other dream matches, I'm the champion, and I got to wrestle the guy who's never done jack squat in this. Like, yeah, I can see being like, what the hell?
Yeah, this should have been the Eddie Kingston spot.
Thank you. Oh well.
Yeah.
Sonata wins.
Yeah.
Could be a good match.
I think this is where
this will be where I'll be checking Twitter.
Yeah.
Like I won't even be paying attention, unfortunately.
I think this is where we start to see some seeds planted for a Jungle Boy heel turn.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Now we're into the good stuff. Kenny Omega defending the IWGP United States Championship against Will Ospreay in a rematch from Wrestle Kingdom.
I can't get a feel for who I think is going to win this.
I think
I go back and forth. You think so?
Yeah.
So that they can do the third match at Wembley, or that he can defend it at Wembley.
They could do the third match at Wembley. They could do, I don't know, because Kenny said that if he beats Ospreay, he's got no reason to return to Japan. And I just think, I don't know why I don't know. I just think Ospreay retain. Like, what's the point of having your second title on someone who's not there for an even longer period of time?
I mean, that's fair. That's a great point. I feel like the rematch in Wembley would be this could be a draw too. It could go to a draw that requires a third match at Wembley.
Yeah. Just 45 minutes tops, please.
I just to me, I just don't see Omega taking a loss on this big of a stage right now because they're trying to get him back up at the top of the card.
But you got Don Callis lurking. He offered secure, which I'm very disappointed. I was the only one on Twitter making Truth Commission jokes.
Well,
like
most of the kids weren't alive when that was a thing, Chris.
I know, but
you're old as shit.
Yeah. Yes, I am. You're right. But yeah, I was
we are old.
Yeah. He's talking about security and stuff. I'm like, oh, Truth Commission. Military guys, Truth Commission.
Yeah. It's right there for you.
If Bull Buchanan shows up at Forbidden Door.
Oh, God.
And the Kurgan.
Yeah, that might be when I turn it on. But the beautiful thing is it doesn't really matter who really wins the match. I think we all know it's going to be just a banger. It's going to be great. The match in January was, I mean, I don't think I've seen a better match this year. There may have been ones just as good, but I don't think I've seen a match that I can go, that was better.
Right.
Maybe the match that's going to happen after this will surpass it, or this one could. And I guess that's what I'm most looking forward to. Just what are they going to do, and what is the story they're going to end up telling coming out of it. I'm good with either way.
A lot will depend on how they structure the card, where they place it. Will they put this and the main event back to back? Will they space it out a little bit? I mean, that's going to go along because the crowd plays as much a part in making these matches what they are as the actual in-ring action does.
Right.
So
I know Tony hinted yesterday during the media call that Punk and Kojima is going to kick off the show.
Okay.
So I would imagine that's
there
first.
You go. He's first. The Elite don't even come to the building till.
Legitimately, when I heard that, I'm like, oh, they're literally just going to get him in and get him out before there's any chance to cross. But I doubt he even does the presser afterwards.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Punk is supposed to open, so you could go like Punk, and then the 8-man tag the 6-man tag with Jericho's group. Maybe you throw in the 4-way after that.
Then you do this Sting on early so we can get to bed on time.
Right, and then you can do the 4-way for the international title, Osprey and Omega, women's title match, because they always use the women's match as the come down because sexism.
Yeah.
And then you can build back up for that main event.
Yeah. Yep. Sounds good. And then, speaking of that main event, the dream match that a few years ago we didn't even think was possible. Kazuchika Okada versus Bryan Danielson.
I still can't believe that we're 2 days away from this match.
Yeah.
And same thing as Osprey and Omega. It doesn't matter. We all win.
Yeah.
This is a win for wrestling fans. It just, like, I really hope people don't get caught up in, oh, it wasn't as good as Okada and Omega, or it wasn't as good as Bryan. And so it's like, just be happy that we're getting two of the best of all time when they're both like still at near the top of their game.
Mm-hmm.
I think Okada wins. I think because MJF is going to be beating Tanahashi, I think Omega's probably going to retain. You got to give New Japan the bigger.
I accidentally hit my lever on my chair here.
Those of you listening on YouTube Music didn't see Kris drop about 6 inches on the screen just now, and caught me off guard. Right. I don't see Okada taking the loss in a one-on-one match. He's their biggest star. I mean, if John Cena went over to New Japan in 2010, you think he's going over there to lose to anybody? Like, I just don't see it happening. And we said this during the MJF. Bryan's bulletproof. There's talk out there that he's banged up. Well, he said it on his wife's podcast. He's feeling it. He's not feeling very well. He's going to be limited. This almost feels like he's doing us a favor. Like, he shouldn't be working right now. And it's not his head, it's his body. Yeah. But he missed last year. It's a dream match. It's the match that's selling, one of the two matches that's really selling the card. It just feels like Okada's going to win here.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know. Well, so that even makes me even more convinced that we're moving on past the Elite and Blackpool Combat Club and moving into something else.
Could be
Takeshita and a new group, maybe Osprey.
Right.
You throw an all-star United team Empire of like Takeshita, Osprey, and a few other people.
Well, the other guys from United Empire, they signed with AEW.
They did. One of them's hurt right now, and I'm not sure how long he's going to be out.
But even just having it in the back burner,
yeah,
that could be the move. So
if you give me Aussie Open, Will Ospreay, and Takeshita versus the Elite in a match,
fine by me.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the card. Yeah, I really don't have a dog in the fight either way. I really don't care who wins. So
yeah. Just give me a good match, and there's no doubt in my mind it's going to be outstanding.
Yep. So yeah, there's that, and we'll be back next week with all the breaking it all down and getting ready for Money in the Bank.
I'll let you handle that.
Okay.
I've got no thoughts on Cody and Dominic.
Hey man, two second generation stars going at it.
Yeah. Ooh. Wait, I guess Dom wouldn't be a third generation star because it was Ray's uncle.
Yeah.
That was okay. Shucks. Oh well.
Yeah. Close. 2.5.
Yeah. Well, no, because he's technically Eddie's son, right? So that would make him a third generation wrestler.
Yeah, you're
right.
Or
no, would that make him fourth?
I don't know.
Because I don't remember if the
Eddie's
elder
grandpa?
Guerrero. Yeah.
No, I think it was just Eddie's dad.
Okay.
I think Gory.
I'll have to go find the book and go back and look for it. But yeah, Dom's a third generation wrestler.
Yeah, exactly. Have you seen that new shirt with him and Rhea on it?
No, I have not.
It's the photo. It's the one where that she had posted on Instagram of Dom Dom on the ass of her wrestling gear.
Oh, okay.
And Dom pointing at it, and that's the one where Buddy commented is like, his name is on your ass, but I get to touch it or something like that.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's that
right.
photo on the front, and it says, "You wish you were us," and then it says R+D on the back.
Nice. It's got like a little heart.
No, there's no heart on it. Like it stopped just short of going that far, but
missed opportunity.
They celebrated a couple big anniversaries in WWE this week. 35 years for old HBK and 25 years for Edge.
God, that's
speaking
like,
of us being old.
Right. And then, well, in that 35th year anniversary, the first night Sean was back in the company, just down the road from us in good old Toledo, Ohio.
Yeah.
So,
good old Savage Arena, probably.
I think it was the Toledo Municipal
Toledo Sports
Arena.
It
is the Toledo Sports Arena is what it used to be called. Yeah. That place was a dump. I went there one time.
Yeah.
For a house show. It was fit right in with Ohio.
Well, that's Now you know why they tore it down. My dad's first Kiss concert was in that building.
Cool. You guys gonna go to the show at the casino up in Wisconsin?
No,
on the Michigan border.
No, we're just going to the one at LCA in October.
Oh, you're not gonna go 9 hours up through the UP to go see the boys?
No. I'm good.
Fair enough.
So I was 2.5, like 2.5 was my limit when we were gonna go. Well, we were supposed to go see him in Fort Wayne. Well, they actually did go see him in Fort Wayne. I didn't, because that was the night after I fell and broke myself a few years back.
Which time? You've done that a couple times in the course of a.
It's funny because it's true. All right. Anything else you need to plug besides your talking about old Elon and Zuck going at it?
Actually, I mentioned last week the story just published this afternoon. My interview with Excalibur is up. MLive.com,
nice.
The Ann Arbor News. Again, it was awesome to chat with him for a little bit and talk about his time growing up in Detroit and how he got into the business, what it's like to work with Tony and JR and Taz, and his excitement about the show this weekend. So check it out if you get a chance.
Sounds good. Yeah, shout out to JR, man. Get well soon.
He just can't seem to catch a break. Poor guy.
I know. Sassafras. Oh gosh, we're idiots.
That's Pritchard's fault though. That's not us.
True. So yeah, well, I'll have you DM me that link and I'll add it into the video description.
Ooh, thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So, all right. So you can follow me on Twitter at IBNSChris. You can follow the show at KM Wrestling Pod. Follow me for all your obscure Attitude Era references that no one else remembers besides me.
No, I remembered it. I just I wasn't commenting because I hadn't seen any of the show yet.
Right. No, that's fine. I just heard a little bit, I thought someone out there would be like, "Hey, yeah, that's funny," and then nope, it just crossed the line of too obscure, I guess. So,
I mean, they were such a dynamic force in the World Wrestling Federation that how could you forget?
How could you forget the Jackal? All right, we're out. See ya.